Hey folks, welcome to Well. This is not a social justice issue conversation today. It's not about social justice. I'm not a social activist or anything. This is about business. So today on Well, the focus on business today is on DEI and the removal of it from, from the state of Indiana, from across the country, from major corporations, but it's the removal of it. And we're going to talk about it from a business standpoint. And that's my conversation today. I really struggle with how to start this, how to get into it. So I'm just going to get into it. The biggest issues that we're facing right now when it comes to the removal of DEI, first and foremost, it was implemented not out of good faith in the first place. It was implemented on the back of years and years of buildup of social issues. Like I said, this is not about social issues, but I'm just kind of giving you a little background to the buildup on even the concept, the phraseology, the wording of it, the implementation of it, and the outrage. Now, had we not had 2020 happen and the events that transpired that year, most of these companies, most of these even government agencies wouldn't have even implemented DEI in the first place, or even the concept or the conversation of it, or developed different offices and so forth. They wouldn't have even done it in the first place. But saying that they did do it, here's the issue that we have. The commitments, they were not made in good faith. And the removal of them comes at a time when this directly affects Black business ownership. And that's the biggest issue that I have with this. Now, I really had no intentions upon ever even speaking on it, to be honest with you. But here recently, we have a new governor here in Indiana, and the new governor has, on day one, first, executive order signed is to remove DEI from state government. Okay, in basically one paragraph, we're going to take that right out of here. Well, the problem that has is, especially in the state of Indiana, for Black businesses, it's hard for Black business to grow and to get any traction in the first place. This further pushes us into a place where now it was hard to almost impossible before. So now, imagine, the whole tone has shifted. Now, see, this is a problem. This is a problem at a time when Black ownership is on the rise, but the complications to getting access to, and see, what does this do? This affects, government contracts. This affects, the tone of grants. This affects a lot of things, that were already hard to get or attain, because getting capital for Black-owned businesses is nearly impossible in the first place. So, when it comes to removing DEI, like I said, which I wasn't a fan of in the first place, it was so poorly done, it was not implemented in good faith in the first place. It just really wasn't. So, that in mind, we need to really make sure. So my question, this is a questioning time. I'm not, here to browbeat, but I have questions that we need to get answers to. As a Black business owner, I have questions. So when I submit those questions, we need answers to them. And that's just really the bottom line. Okay, you're removing it. You're replacing it with merit-based, so merit excellence, initiatives. What does that mean? What does that mean? So who determines the merits? Who determines the merits? And here's the reality: if we, as Black business owners, were not already, achieving certain goals in the first place because we had no access to capital, let's just go be honest with it, and we had no access to, certain, slots in industries and so forth. So what, where's the merit coming in at? What's the intention? So the intention is nothing. That's what the intention is. Let's just be honest. We're not going to replace it with anything. You're just going to have to be better. Be better at what? Be better at what? Be better at providing, quality products, service. You got that. Be better at what? Be better at, managing businesses, running operations. We've got that. But be better at what? This merit base. And see, this comes down to the biggest part that's broken here are these systematic biases that are implemented within our systems. And that's the one part, that's the one factor that's agreed upon across the board. That's agreed upon across the board. That there are in every department, in every system, there are biases that are constantly, that we're constantly having to deal with, that are we don't realize, we don't know even how to address them because we don't notice them until after it happens. You see what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing, and this is not the, browbeat people. We all have different biases that we don't realize until after they've occurred, which is generally too late. It's generally too late. If I have to file this and file that, who sets the tone on the merit? Well, you should have been knew that you should have filed this. You should have been knew that, you should have, had, hit these numbers. You should have been, how would I know? Answer the questions first and foremost. That's where we're at right now. Okay. You want merit base? Got you, merit base. Answer the questions. Answer the question. When we have questions, answer the questions. Don't run from them and hide and evade. I don't have to answer no question. No. You're going to have to answer some questions. You have to answer some questions. You can get read at D.E.I. all day if you want. Cool, great. But you're going to have to answer some questions. What are we going to do? What are we going to do to fix? You're going to have to do better business. Guess what? Got it. Now what? And so this is the questions. Let's just really make the opportunity to get the questions answered. That's the thing. Answer the questions. I don't, if you're going to take away DEI, okay, you're going to take away DEI. What's going to replace it? You implemented it in the first place. Not even out of good faith, but you implemented it in the first place out of duress, whatever the reason you implemented it in the first place. Okay. You're taking it away before it even did anything. It did nothing in the first place. Nothing, absolutely anything at all in the first place. But you took it away. Okay, so you took it away. Okay, now what are you going to do to replace it? Well, you're going to have to, you have to compete against. Okay, so let's just break it down. Let's do some numbers here. In Indiana, our state in Indiana, the total black population equates to around about 7 to maybe 8% of the state. That's the whole black population in the whole state of Indiana. Okay. Of the 7 or 8% of the black population in Indiana, most of those are, employed by, companies, throughout Indiana. A small number of those are business owners. Okay. Out of the 7 or 8%. Okay. From a number standpoint, how much better does a black-owned business have to do in Indiana in order to hit or reach that merit, that MEI, threshold, whatever that may look like, to compete? When you're starting off from a point where you already have zero capital and access to capital is zero to very low in the first place. And you don't have voices in the room to have the conversations in order to, let's make this make sense. Let's make this make sense. It's not that complicated. But see, the problem is, and most people don't realize this, and the bitter reality that I've realized over the past several years, there's no motivation for it. There's no motivation for it. On a state level, on a government level, there's no motivation for, black-owned businesses other than from black-owned business owners. There's no motivation for it from the culture, from the surroundings, from, the environment in order to even hit a threshold of merit. But there's no motivation, meaning there's no outcry. Like I want, more black-owned businesses to engage with. The public's not saying that. It's not crying out for that. So therefore, there's no motivation for it. And here's the reality. As I just, indicated those percentages and everything, those percentages will not mandate, they will not even suggest any motivation for, the development and growth of black-owned businesses on a scale enough to be able to even hit that merit threshold. That was the reason intentionally, I mean, I imagine the reason for even initiating the DEI initiatives in the first place was to get some seating at a table that there's no motivation and there's no path forward. There's no path forward in order to get to this table by any other means. See, that's the issue. There's no path forward by getting there by any other means. And this is a national issue, but just focusing on Indiana because that's where we're at. That's, God bless it. Love Indiana. Yeah, we got, see, that's the thing, being, black in Indiana, my personal family lineage goes way back. It goes way back. We have a lot of blood in the soil here in Indiana. We're part of Indiana. We're part of the culture in Indiana. And so, it's not about, wow, we'll just go. No. This is our home. We have blood in the soil here. This is our state as well. Problem is though, is there's such a small number of us that there's no motivation for the whole to, actually see us, grow and flourish. And that's just, inside of my family, not to mention, the rest of, black people in Indiana. So, I mean, from a number standpoint, we have to really focus on, okay, let's at least ways to get some questions answered. Let's just do that right now. I'm not, if you take away something and you have nothing to replace it, and you didn't do it in good faith in the first place, what are we doing here? Because one of the biggest issues that we have in order to gain this merit threshold is people being, familiar with one another, people being affiliated with one another, people being in relationship with one another, and that's typically where things happen at. When such and such knows such and such, and then, oh, that's a good guy. I want to, let's put him in, that's the whole, let's do that. Let's put people in positions and everything. Let's do that. How about we do that? But without that, we are struggling. We're going to struggle even more and more with being able to develop black-owned businesses. Now, since, I've lived in Indiana, my father brought us here back in 1984. And because he's from here. And from 1984 to, now I've seen a lot of black-owned business. When we first moved here, I didn't know it was something special or anything at the time, but I saw a lot of them. Black-owned businesses. And I saw them, fade away. I've been witness to them, when the proprietors, pass away, so does the business, I saw them disintegrate right in front of me to the point now where there's none, there's none, and that's just, I saw all kind of brick and mortar, businesses, storefronts, electronic stores, gas stations, all kind of barbershops, all kind, I never had to leave the neighborhood for much of nothing, record stores, restaurants, markets, couple markets, I want to go over here and get this, food from here and get this food from, I saw this in person. If I never saw it in person, I wouldn't know it. But to see it disintegrate and not understand the systemic issues that not only allowed it to disintegrate, but forced them to disintegrate in a lot of ways. And made it so that you couldn't even reestablish and rebuild them. And so now we're even struggling even today to reestablish and rebuild a lot of them. But I know the tone of this video today seems a little, but it has to, this is the feeling. So we have questions, we're looking for answers, let's engage in the conversation and say, well, we have to move forward on this thing. We want to remove D.E.I. Okay, remove D.E.I. What are you going to replace it with? And how's this, the effect on black-owned businesses? That's my conversation. That's my focus. Other issue, like I said, this is not a social justice warrior conversation. This is a business conversation focused on black-owned businesses because I am black. I have black-owned businesses that have struggled to get any bearing. I've run a lot of operations, run a lot of business for a lot of years, and the past several years has been noticeably, ridiculously harder for Black-owned businesses to get any footing. But I've learned, that there's no motivation, there's no cultural motivation for Black-owned businesses to grow, thrive, and to even function properly. And that's why, having initiatives like DEI were implemented supposedly in the first place, and to take them away before they even got started is in and of itself is egregious. But the reality of it is let's address these questions, Indiana. Let's say, well, let's have the conversation. I'm asking the questions. Let's start getting some answers. All right. Talk to you later. God bless you.